In my life, I have changed so much as a result of learning about how plastic has such a negative effect on our bodies and the planet. I remember the first time that I learned about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. I was shocked to learn that there is a huge patch of garbage floating around in the ocean that is over 1.5 million square miles in size. How can people turn a blind eye to the amount of waste we make and to this growing problem in our sea? The average American goes through approximately 220 pounds of plastic a year. If you multiply that by how many years that you think you'll live, that number is no doubt staggering. 220 a year times your years of life. It's mind-blowing on how much waste each individual person creates in their lifetime. If we continue on the trajectory that we are on, within decades our oceans will be full of plastics and not living creatures. As if that wasn't enough to make you want to change at least a few of your consumption habits, perhaps the following will. Global production of plastics has increased from 2 million metric tons in 1950, so 2 million to over 4 million metric tons in 2015, according to Science Daily. So in 65 years, it's gone from 2 million to 400 million metric tons. Um, Plastic production is set to quadruple by 2050, according to Science Advances. And the production of virgin plastic, which is non-recycled plastic, has increased 200-fold since 1950 and has grown at a rate of 4% a year since 2000. So we do have steady growth happening. And lastly, it's just staggering to me. There's been more plastic produced in the last 10 years than the entirety of the last 100 years, according to Org Media. So it's just, our consumptions of plastic bottles and plastic toothbrushes and plastic straws, plastic cups, which 500 billion disposable cups are consumed every year. Um, 1 million plastic bottles are bought every single minute, according to The Guardian. Plastic bags. This year alone, in 2020, 5 trillion plastic bags will be consumed. That's 160,000 plastic bags a second. And let that sink in for a second. So now that I have your attention, you are hopefully in a state of shock with a small voice inside whispering, how can I change? This is so much bigger than me. Mm, Fortunately, the hippies from the 1970s were right. We can do it, man, one person at a time, with every little bit making a difference together. We have a huge job as a community of mothers to raise the next generation of good people. And I'm sure you've heard the adage, what kind of planet do you want to leave your children? I really need you to think about this. Let's band together as mothers and as women and vow to do our part to shrink and even eliminate the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's not going to be easy. It will involve commitment, daily commitment. That will involve educating ourselves and others. And it will involve uncomfortable conversations and difficult situations where choices will need to be made. But trust me when I say that if you do your research and commit yourself to changing, even just a few things about your family's habits and daily lives, you will be making an impact. And commitment to always learning and changing is the key. Because take it from me, someone who is not always a mindful organic consumer that tried to make the eco-friendly choices, you will always change and grow and evolve on your journey. And that's the best part about it. Every consciously eco-friendly choice that you make gets you closer to making more good choices. And like I said, research is key. Learn about the planet and what our daily actions are doing. I love the story of stuff. Google that, the story of stuff. National Geographic is doing a lot for our environment and really does great reporting and stories on factual truths about our planet. World Wildlife Federation really takes, a lot of care to report on the truth, and they have good insight. These are all easy places to start with great visuals. In addition to looking at how bad plastic is for the environment, also make sure that you research from credible sources what plastic use and microplastics do to your kids' bodies. Now, this is an image of some plastics that have broken down, and microplastics are getting even smaller, and it's in the water that we drink and the air that we breathe now. We can't even see the plastics that we're consuming on a daily basis. Next, I would say that you should, after your research, conduct a personal evaluation of your habits. And if you really want to get into it and you're super type A, make a daily journal and track how much plastic you're using. But just if you take a few minutes and sit down and just think about your daily plastic use, that really puts things into perspective. Once you are equipped with knowledge and have truly looked at your habits, you can begin making lasting changes. Just remember, start simple. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I would suggest, start with the low-hanging fruit. Switch to reusable water bottles, buy glass food storage, buy from the bulk bins, get those reusable grocery bags and don't forget them in your car. Do less online shopping, and do more secondhand and swap purchases. I've been parts of mommy groups where we all get together and do swaps, and it is awesome. It's always a good time. Um, I made a switch recently to beeswax wrap over plastic wrap, and it is really a cool choice. Um, Purchase groceries that are in sustainable plastic-free packaging. We always get like late July tortilla chips that come in, these non-plastic containers. It's pretty cool. And recycling, of course, make sure to read your local municipality's website though for instructions on how to properly do this, because a lot of things that go to the recycling centers aren't even accepted because they're not properly recycled. Once you make some changes to your household's plastic use, start working in your community. Join beach cleanups. Write letters to politicians advocating for better laws to protect our planet. Sign petitions for eco-friendly initiatives. Share articles on social media and email to educate your people. Follow organizations and influencers making a difference and support their work. And speak out to local businesses about ways that they can change to earn your business. I've seen so many stories about, a consumer who will say to their local pizzeria, hey, Can you not use styrofoam? And they make changes usually to make their customers, their loyal customers, happy. So don't be afraid to speak out. Honestly, supply and demand really does make our world go round, and moms make up over 50% of consumer spending in the United States. If we speak up and vote with our dollars, change is inevitable. My dream is to see all global citizens wake up from our zombie like state and start taking action to make a difference. Plastic is killing humans, animals, and nature. Microplastics are so tiny now that, like I said, they're in the air that we breathe and the water that we drink. They're everywhere. We as humans have created this crisis. Let's not just sit back and watch it become the reason we become extinct. Together, moms, we can change this planet for our children and our children's children. Join me today and make changes and speak up for what is right. We will all play a role, whether big or small, in making a difference, and each of us matter in this battle.